We explained a lot of stuff. We went over a lot of things today. So when you're watching this one, go back and get your pen and pad out, okay? Hey guys, Chris from Tillman Family Farms, and today, Jamie and I are gonna be a little vulnerable. We're going inside. All right, so we're inside, and I'm gonna tell you why we're inside. So all of this stuff that you see us do, and all this gardening, and all these honeybees, and all this other stuff, you have to try to wonder sometimes, where's all that stuff go? What are they really getting out of that? What is homesteading all about? Well, today, we're gonna show you the fruits of our labor, and we're gonna go through some canning stuff. We're gonna be canning some pinto beans today. So Jamie's already got a round in the canner. So I'm gonna go over a couple other things, show you some stuff that's already been canned, already been put up, preserved, and then a couple of other things that we do every year to help support other local farmers and put up some food for us. All right. So this is Jamie's amazing kitchen. Say hey, babe.
Hey.
Hey. So traditional farmhouse here, guys. We've never given you anything inside worthy, but so traditional farmhouse. We have no dishwasher besides her and I. Kids don't help a whole lot. We do not have central heat and air, and that's just what it is. So let me show you what we got going on. So Jamie's already working on pinto beans. She's already got a round in the canner. These probably still have quite some time left, but we'll get into that process here in just a little bit. But let's go over here and let's talk about what this is all about. So I'm just going to give you a rundown. So these are quart jars of pickles, all from our garden. These are more pickles. These are spears that Jamie does. Of course, all of these tomatoes and okra and cucumbers, all that stuff comes from our garden. Different type of pickle here. All of that is green beans. This first round, of course, we've already had some. Then 1, 2, 3, that's 40 pint jars of kidney beans. This is 12 jars of honey, our honey for the first time ever. And then, of course, eggs. This is a whole bucket of black beans that has to be shelled. More pinto beans to be processed. More kidney beans to be processed. A bag of blueberries that hasn't been processed. Eggs that we collect every day. And this is what I was talking about right here. So we're one of those that says, let the guy that knows what he's doing do what he does. We've never been any good at growing corn, so we buy corn.
1 year.
Well, 1 year we did all right. Anyway, so we buy corn, and we buy a multitude of peaches. So both of those boxes are peaches. And then, just as a precautionary, we always get a couple of boxes of tomatoes from some local folks.
Actually, so that's really from a good cause situation.
Yeah.
It is. It's a sweet old gentleman, but he's a preacher at a church, and part of their fundraising for funds for mission trips and stuff, they do peaches and they do Vidalia onions, they do tomatoes and peaches, but they do it from local farms.
Awesome. Yeah. So always supporting other people too, but this is why we do what we do. So the tomatoes will end up as salsa, stewed tomatoes, spaghetti sauce, and I'm sure there's something else behind me that she's muttering and I just don't know. But got a dehydrator over there going. We got all kinds of stuff going. So this is what it's like for us in the middle of the summer to be doing this kind of stuff. So that's what you get from all of it. I'll probably show you some stuff from last year as well that's still floating around that we haven't consumed yet. And then we're gonna get into canning. So this is the pantry. So up top, you've got purple hulls from last year. Looks like those are mushrooms, cranberries. These are dried bananas. That back in there is actually probably deer meat, I would say. Maybe, what is that, carrots or potatoes? Carrots. And then it looks like some broth back there in the back. So we got some eggs. We got more broth, we got greens, we got black beans, we got carrots and potatoes. Then you come down here and you got all sorts of jams and jellies. Maybe a salsa right there, maybe? Yeah. And then that's a blueberry, looks like, jelly. Then that is canned taco soup. So still tons of stuff in there. This little shelf behind our door is like canning central. So we got a meat grinder, We got a KitchenAid mixer, and then we've got all these storage totes in it. So these have some mixes in it that Jamie picks up to help her with sauces. This will help you vacuum seal a jar. Rings, scale weights. This is a chopper thingy. And then you come on down here and we've got some more canned stuff down there. So that's kind of the way that this is set up. Everything's just kind of open in here. So this is one last little honey hole here. So there's all sorts. So this is an abundance of brown sugar. This is more meat. This is more carrots and potatoes. Those are some butter beans right there. These are dehydrated peppers. There's some canned rice in there. Just things that we get in abundance. So this is dehydrated zucchini, dehydrated blueberries. I'm not sure what that one is. Onions maybe. But yeah, that's what it's like on Homestead. Prepping and putting things away so that you'll have them when you gotta have them. All right, so we're gonna start the canning portion of this, but we're gonna start off by talking about some of the things that you need to get started with canning. You can't just jump in the kitchen one day with a bunch of vegetables that need to be canned and not know what you need. So here we go. There's two different ways to can. You can water bath it, or you can pressure can it, okay? Different things call for different methods. If it's very, and I'm gonna make sure she corrects me if I'm wrong because I'm not the expert. So if it's very acidic, you can water bath it.
Yes.
Is that right? Right.
And jams and jellies.
And jams and jellies, you can water bath.
So the rule of thumb, if it has a lot of vinegar in it, or if it's tomatoes,
Yeah.
or if it has a crap ton of sugar in it,
You can
water
water
bath.
bath it, right? And then there's going to be things, all your beans, your pressure canning corn too, right?
yes.
Yeah. So just about everything else, any type of meats, any soups, anything like that that you want to make an abundance of and can, you would do all of that in a pressure canner. We will try to find a link to a guide that would tell you some specific time frames and things like that of how long to water bath them, or to water bath them and to pressure can them. And we'll link that in the description down below. We're also going to link down in the description a couple of different things. Some of the stuff I'm going to show you now, it's kind of like a kit that you can order on Amazon to kind of get you started. And we'll probably link you to a pressure canner as well. So let me get some of these things out, get them lined up, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Water bathing takes a great big pot, and it also takes a couple of tools to be able to do it. So this is our pot, okay? We've had this thing, Jamie's kicking my camera.
I'm sorry.
So we've had this thing, oh gosh, 18, 19 years. So anyway, it's just got a big lid on it. And then it has, down on the inside of it, it has this little tray. Let me put this in there. So this, you'll stack your jars in it. Now, in this particular one, you can do pints or quarts, or you can double stack your pints. So it goes down on the thing, and it would sit like that. And now I'm tearing stuff up. And then you would basically just, come here, hold this so they can actually see what I'm talking about.
You cannot double stack pints in this.
You can't?
No, the water will overflow.
I thought she'd done it before.
No.
So anyway, you just take this thing, you pick it up, drop it down in there, and then you put your lid on it. So it just kind of makes it level with that. But this thing is water bathing. Another thing too, and I'll kind of demonstrate a little bit here in just a second about how to get your jars out of this. All right, so before we get back to the actual water bathing pot and all that stuff, I want to show you some of the tools that are going to come in these kits like this. And the one that we'll link may not be this exact one. It may have, you know, one or two other things in it, but this is what we have always used out of the kits. So this is a nice, neat little funnel that will go down into the mouth of the jar, and then you can fill your beans and greens or whatever else you're doing down in there without really making a mess of the jar itself, and then touching the actual rim. Very, very important in this process to keep this rim right here clean and dry before you put that cap on there, okay? So that's your funnel. This, you'll see Jamie in some of the video, once she gets the beans or whatever it is down in there, and then she fills it with warm water, she'll take this and she goes down in and she just works the beans, and I'll show you when she gets to that. But it helps to get the air bubbles out of what you're canning. It gets it all brought to the top. this is not necessary as much anymore, but the flats, you used to have to boil them. And then this is just a little magnet. And then you could reach down in the hot water with this and you could get a flat off and you could stick it onto your thing here. I'll do some more explaining on that too, because you don't have to do that anymore. This is actually to help pick up the jars when they're hot right out of a canner or a water bath. So you just grab it like that and pick it right up, go set it down wherever you want to. You can take a hot jar, put it down into something with these things. These are a big time lifesaver here, right here. But these things normally come in a kit with the water bath pot and lid, and then the basket that goes in and out of them, and then these couple of things. And it is a great starting point when it comes to canning. Back to the pot itself. Okay, so this thing's been on the stove and it's boiling and it's steaming and you're ready to take everything out of it. You're gonna set your lid to the side. This basket down in it, you're going to be able to pick it up and just hook it on the sides like that. And then you'll take your tool and you won't get burned, and then you can remove your jars. Simple as that. We're not going to be doing any water bathing today, so that big pot that you just saw is not what we're going to be using in this video. We are actually pressure canning pinto beans, okay? Some of the other things that you're gonna need, so glass jars, Ball, there's a couple of different brands out there. We've even used a large amount of jars that we buy just down at Dollar General. And just about any time we see them, especially if we see them on sale, we will buy them. We don't care what time of year it is. So jars are a big time deal. You'll probably, at some point or another, when you get to reusing jars, you'll buy the boxes of, I was looking to see if I saw some sitting on the shelf so I can grab them. But anyway, you can get boxes of just the flats. And the flats, when I say flats, this is what it is. It's the top part of the jar. You put that on there. It's got a little rubber seal. And that seal right there in the heating process is going to help seal to the jar itself. But that's the biggest reason we keep talking about keeping it clean and dry as you go putting this stuff together. So, but that's a flat. And then, well, let me steal a ring. Oh, ring. So the flat goes on top of the jar. That goes on top of it. This is what you've been seeing at Grandma's house for years and years and years. So yeah, you're gonna need a lot of those eventually. As you get started, you're gonna wanna clean and sanitize all of your jars and then let them dry. But when you get done with that and they're dried, you need to keep them heated because everything is gonna be hot. You don't wanna pour hot water and whatnot down in this jar with your beans and then put it in a pressure canner with this jar is cold. The changing temperatures will cause these jars to bust, and that'll happen sometimes anyway. Sometimes there'll be an imperfection in the glass and you may have one bust in the canner. You'll probably even hear it. Do not freak out, just let it go. You'll have a little mess to clean up when you're done, but everything else in there needs to finish doing what it's doing. So let me show you how Jamie keeps her jars hot before she fills them and sticks them in the canner. The first thing she does is she sets her oven at 175 degrees. Then she takes cookie sheets and she stacks her jars onto the cookie sheets and puts them in the oven. So this is going to keep the jars at a specific temperature so that when she gets ready to pour the hot water and the beans in there, that they'll already be warm. Let's talk about a pressure canner itself real quick, because this is what we're going to be using today. So we have two. This one has been around for quite some time, and it is just your standard one layer pressure canner. This one doesn't have a pressure gauge on it, but it does have the weight. And these weights, you can actually buy these weights in different sizes. This little piece right here will just come off, but this will allow you to achieve different pressures, right? I think this one, she's not in here for me to ask, but I think that this one is for 12 pounds of pressure. But what happens is, let me adjust this a little more here so you can see. All right, so this thing locks into place. So it has an arrow and an arrow, and inside of it has this nice little gasket. So you line up those arrows, and as it sits down on there, then you twist it into place, okay? You're gonna let this water heat up, and once this thing starts to whistle at you, you put that on there, and this thing gets to rocking. It's really, really cool. I hear it all summer long because my wife's great at this. But what happens after that is this little piece right here will pop up. Let's see if I can make it pop up so we can see what you're talking about here. So that piece will pop up like that when you pull it off the stove after your time has elapsed. And then when it's ready, when it's safe, listen to me, when it is safe to open this thing, that little thing right there will have popped back down. That means that the pressure has gone down in this thing enough for it to be safe to open. So basically, when your timer goes off, these things have been in here long enough for whatever bean or corn or whatever it is that you're canning. Once that timer goes off, you just take this and you set it off of the heat and allow this thing to depressurize on its own. Then you're just gonna twist it, open it up, and then you'll use your same tool again to reach down and get your jars out, okay? These things come with a little plate in the bottom of them to keep the jars off of the bottom of the pot so they're not sitting directly on the heat. So that is this pressure canner. The one over on the stove is the same, but it's a deeper pot and it's got a gauge on it. So it works a little bit different. The little weight thing doesn't rock until 15 pounds on that one. So it's just a touch different and it's deeper. So you can have two of those things in there and you can stack jars in that. That is specifically why she bought that one. I would like to note really, really quick here that there's so many different aspects of canning. I know that we'll probably miss something. So these pinto beans have already been processed. They were shelled. They were put in the refrigerator in bags until we got enough to do what we wanted to do. And then before they get to this stage, they have been cleaned. So she runs them through the sink and through a strainer, gets them all nice and cleaned up before they ever get to this point, okay? So whatever you're canning, make sure that you do a little bit of research on it to see what you need to do to that before you ever get to the stage that we're at currently, okay? So this is ready to be filled in the jars and plugged into the canner. So boss just walked back in from another chore that she was doing, so don't be laughing. So there's about 4 minutes or so left on this first round that we put in. What we're doing, the whole reason we bought a second canner is so that, number one, you can do more in this canner, but we'll still use the other one. So when we pull this one off and this one's cooling off, we can fill up the other one and go ahead and put it on so that this process will go a little bit faster. So just remember, when this thing comes off the stove, you do not open it immediately because this thing will pop off and just blow right up. It's got all kinds of pressure in it. So we're gonna go over that as soon as this timer goes off. We'll get it moved off. We'll show you how to pack jars and get them in this other canner and get that thing going. All right, so our timer just went off. Carefully move this one off of the heat and leave it alone. The other one comes on. So this one has already got a little water in it and it's got the pan down at the bottom of it to keep the jars off the bottom like we talked about a few minutes ago. Now at this point she's going to get her jars and stuff like that ready. Actually, she's taking a little snack break over here. Wow. That's all right. So the heated jars, like we talked about, right out of the oven.
As I maneuver around my dog.
So you put about a cup in each one, right? There's your little funnel that we talked about a little while ago. See how that's coming into play. Pinto beans have already been washed and cleaned and all that stuff. We talked about that a little while ago. Just kind of give you an idea. So beans and peas and all that stuff, they kind of swell a little bit when you do this, but you want to leave plenty of head space for fluid. So this is hot water. She stops off. Let's see if we can catch it where she stops. Right there. So that space from there to the top of the jar she calls head space. And that just allows for the water to do everything it needs to do. Just a little bit more in that one. A little bit more in that one. Alright, so here's your other tool. See the air bubbles coming up?
You don't want to stir.
Yeah, you don't want to stir it. You're just trying to release all the air bubbles that are trapped down in there amongst all the beans. And this will be with anything, greens, anything that you do. You want to try pickles. Yeah. You want to try to get as much air out from down there as you can.
All right, this is where somebody will have something to say. But when I'm just working with water, I do not wipe my rims. There is absolutely no reason.
So if it's a soup or something like that, jams or meats or anything like that, you definitely need to
wipe your rims.
Wipe your rims up. But it's all water right this second, so it's not really going to change much of anything. So when you put these rings on, it's
finger tight.
Yeah, finger tight. You don't want to crank down on these things, because what you'll find is that after they come out of the canner, you may still be able to have a little bit more of a twist to them just to put them on there. Which the rings in some cases are not necessary after they've been canned. You can pull them off if you want to. Alright, so they are stacked into the canner, which we got to keep filling it up. Looks like there'll be
10.
So there'll be 10 in there total. So we're going to repeat that process, and then we'll come back and we'll put the lid on, and I'll show you how this thing works. All right, so all 10 jars in there, there's only about 1.5 inches of water in the bottom of this.
3 quarts.
3 quarts of water. That's 3 quarts of water?
Yes.
Oh. So anyhow, with a water bath, you're going to want a lot more water in that. You're going to want it to just barely cover the top of them. But with pressure canning, it is not necessary. So, how long do they go in? These are pinto beans.
Pinto beans. They're fresh pinto beans. So
there's a difference.
Yeah, we're going to do 45, 50 minutes. So here, when I say 45 or 50 minutes, so that's once the dial, or, so this one works different, I'm sure you explained it. Once this rocker starts, not from the time you close the lid. So you got it builds up its pressure. You got to vent it for 10 minutes. And then once you put the rocker on, once it starts moving, then that's when your official canning time starts.
Yeah, so you get it cooking, get the lid on it, get it locked down. That's what she's fixing to do now. And then it only goes on there one way. Anyway, once it gets to rocking,
you got this as it's coming up to pressure. This will pop first, and then steam will come out, and it'll vent for 10 minutes, and then you put your weight on.
And then when you put the weight on, I'll show you the little and then that one over there should be depressurized here in a little while, and we'll open that one up and we'll pull out the 20 jars that are in it. All right, so this is what she was talking about. So your little pressure cap is popped up, and then we're actually steaming right here. Venting. Yeah. So it has to vent like this for
about 10 minutes.
10 minutes, and then you'll add the weight to it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so you may have to adjust your heat a little bit, but that's about what you want, and try not to burn your arm on the back of it. So we were hoping that this other one wasn't quite ready. So you see this is up on this one. It takes this long because it took about 15 minutes to get this up to temperature, about 10 minutes to let it vent. So you're looking at about 20 minutes. This one, the pressure little button over here finally went down. The pressure is at 0 pretty much. What Jamie likes to do is remove the weight and then we'll let it sit here for another 3 or 4 minutes and completely depressurize. The reason for that is that sometimes if you open it up really fast and it's not completely depressurized, then Jamie said that sometimes the jars will siphon. And what that means is it'll pull the water from inside of it, it'll suck it into the jars and before it's sealed. So anyhow, we'll give it a few more minutes, we'll start pulling some jars out, and then we'll tell you what to look for from there. But this one is ready. Look at that. Cool. So what you want to do is unload this thing to a spot where they can just cool off.
On something. You don't want to put them on the cold counter.
You don't want to put them directly on the counter. And aren't those pretty? Just like that, 20-pint jars. And they are still hot, still sealing. What you're going to be listening for is you're going to start hearing the tops of these jars. You'll just start hearing a little pink sound, just pink, and all the jars will be sealing. They'll pop down, and that's when they'll create their suction. So like you can see on that one, see how it's got a little button in the middle. Don't push them. Let them do it on their own. I get in trouble with that all the time. But anyhow, they'll all start popping and sealing up here before too long as they cool. And if you don't have one that seals, if the top is still loose, just put that jug in the refrigerator and you need to eat it in the next couple of days. Sometimes it happens. I don't know if you can see it, but this one is indented. This one is not. So this one's cooled and has started where it goes down. So that one is not. That one is not. That one is down. Oh, we got one on video. So yeah, that's what they'll do. They just pop down just like that. That was pretty cool. All right, so once these cool, we'll get them stacked up here with everything else. But this is it. This is it, guys. Cool stuff right here. Guys, that about wraps it up for this canning video. I really hope that you guys got something out of this, and if you enjoyed it, please let us know down in the comments below. We do want to start doing more videos like this. I feel like this one got a little long, but we explained a lot of stuff. We went over a lot of things today. So when you're watching this one, go back and get your pen and pad out, okay? But anyhow, we appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't done so, please go down and like and subscribe and ring that bell so you'll see all the videos we put out. We will see you on the next video.